Hi guys, this is Mark Shawson, the Pattern Trader. John Charles was kind enough to leave this review on our review website. John says, having been in the elite program for 1 month, I've seen my trading improve substantially. Following Mark's trades is great. Do we win every trade? No. However, our wins in pips, therefore in dollars, far outweigh the losses. The other benefit, and I think the main one, is getting a better understanding of reading charts, when to enter a trade, and setting a take profit and stop loss. I highly recommend the Elite Trading Program, John. So thank you for that, John, and really glad that you're getting a lot of benefit out of the Elite Program. I'm just putting this stuff down here. Every once in a while, the market just puts a stake in the ground and actually points to where it wants to go, where it becomes almost a no-brainer. And this happened today in most of the British pound trading pairs. I have been a big advocate of the long side of the British pound, albeit it's been with tremendous volatility because of all of the heightened concern over the escalating cases of COVID in the UK, and mainly because of the Brexit concerns. Most of those concerns were put aside today. I'm referring to Brexit because of the huge Tory win, and there is now an expectation that there will be a good outcome. This is why I say the market is always ahead of the news. To my mind, the British pound pairs, mainly the pound versus the Australian dollar and the pound versus the New Zealand dollar, have been pointing an upward surge in the British pound. But today, without a doubt, we got to notice that this is it. Again, they planted a stake in the ground, and now these trades are pointed higher. In a moment, I'm going to go to the real-time charts and show you what I'm talking about in terms of a stake in the ground and how the market actually points in the direction it wants to take, making it almost a no-brainer thing. The risk has been underpinned, albeit there is huge trading range today. The pound versus Australian dollar went to 179 and is closing right now around 182. But this is after the pound versus Australian dollar put in a double bottom between the July and September timeframe. And I've been telling our members this double bottom represents a bottom in the pound versus Australian dollar, and this thing is going to go higher. Now, easier said than done because we've had a lot of volatility for the last week or so in pound New Zealand and pound Australian because of the background noise of the Brexit concerns. But I think everything was now resolved today, and these pairs are pointing higher, particularly the pound versus Australian dollar. So now I'm going to do an analysis on the chart, show you what I'm talking about. In this chart, I'm looking at the pound versus Australian dollar trading pair on a weekly time frame. This means that each one of these price bars represents 1 week in time. And as you can see, this is like a carnival ride in the pound versus Australian dollar, up, down, up, down. And taking a look at this thing, it's sometimes difficult to stand back and understand what's going on. So in fits and starts, this pair, has been going higher since 2016, 2017, when we planted a triple bottom trading pattern. So you can see that we have 3 bottoms at the same price, all shared by a similar neckline. A neckline is simply a line drawn through the pattern at or around the 175 price level. And you can see that this neckline has been a support for the pound versus Australian dollar all the way back since it planted a stake in the ground and put a triple bottom price pattern. So with a triple bottom, with the word bottom in it, it means in fits and starts over time that the expectation is that this is going to go higher. And that's basically what we've seen. This has been a stealth bull market because we've had such vast downturns within the main trend that has been going higher for the last 4 years. And now we have another pattern right along this 175 price line that I predicted several weeks ago, where we made this double bottom right around the 175 support line. So you can see in the August, September timeframe, we came and we made a double bottom where we had two attempts at the same level, and now you can see that once we cross through this neckline, this will be final confirmation that pound versus Australian dollar is ready to take off in the direction as guided by this weekly pattern all the way back many years ago. That's why I call this a governing price pattern, because by and large this triple bottom has been governing or dictating prices since 2016. So my expectation is that we are going to go much higher in pound versus Australian dollar. I've been saying this for a couple of weeks, and again, this is how the market is ahead of the news. So today I'm going to show you on the daily charts how we had a huge thrust in the pound versus Australian dollar on the daily time frame, but you can see all the way back several weeks ago that this double bottom price pattern, which is exactly what it sounds like. Market makes one low, bounces off the low, makes another low, and then bounces off and forms this W double bottom. So by virtue of creating this double bottom many weeks ago, I have been predicting that the pound versus Australian dollar next direction, the next major direction, was going to be higher. But you can see it's been easier said than done because of the vast volatility in this pair because of the Brexit concerns. Now, by understanding the nuances of the weekly chart, I'm going to look now at the daily chart of British pound versus Australian dollar, where each one of these price bars represents one 24-hour trading session. And just like we saw on the weekly time frame, you can see this double bottom on the daily time frame. Now, it doesn't have to be symmetrical. One bottom was lower, but when we look back, you can see that we are tracing out this W price pattern. And once again, when it crosses this threshold at 184, this will be final confirmation for liftoff. And we see that there's just blue sky ahead for pound versus Australian dollar once it clears the 184. Now, my trading methodology is entirely guided by price action, price patterns and price action. First, I look for a price pattern that will guide me as to where the trajectory of a trading instrument is going to go. And then I look for the price action on the daily time frame. And we see here today this giant key reversal. Once the Tory victory came out and it was assured that a victory was going to be had there, and that alleviated the Brexit concerns, you can see that we had a tremendous liftoff in the pound versus Australian dollar. And this is what I call a stake in the ground, this giant key reversal where you have a low and then you close much closer to the high than the low on a big trading day within the context of this underlying governing double bottom price pair. So to my mind, the risk has been underpinned. That means it's very unlikely that we're going to see the low of today. So that means if you get in and buy pound versus Australian dollar, this is your likely risk and this is your likely reward. Now, this is my definition of an ideal trade where you understand that the market is actually pointing in the direction it wants to take. And what I mean by pointing, you can see this key reversal by closing on the high, it's actually pointing in the direction it wants to go. So I hope you got a ton of input and value from this video. The review I read was from John, who's on our elite program. This is one of our more expensive programs. This offers everything that we do at the Pattern Trader. But if you don't know us, I highly suggest that you sign up for our weekly video report. The weekly video report, email and video report will give you a real good understanding of my trading methodology based on price action and price patterns. I predicted this upward surge that came today for the last couple of weeks in pound Australian, pound New Zealand. So again, this is a no-brainer offer. You can sign up for the weekly video report for any price you want to pay. And so we'll put a link alongside this video, any price that you want for the value of this kind of information. Sign up for the weekly video report, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. And until next time, I wish you a healthy and prosperous trading week.